Hello everyone, I am so glad that you could join me again. We are going to have fun today. We need to make an arrangement of flowers for the parlor, and we are going to make strawberry jam and some biscuits on which to enjoy the jam. And then later today, we can serve biscuits and homemade strawberry jam for afternoon tea. And the first thing we need to do is grab the flowers and some fresh local strawberries. So come take a drive with me. At the farm store, we are buying real buttermilk for the biscuits and ripe, local, organic strawberries for the jam. Then it's off to the flower store, where we received a pleasant greeting from Harry the dog. So here are the flowers. I have some pink alstroemeria. This is a great flower because it has a super long vase life. I have campanula, blue plurum, and white flower. I forgot to ask the name of this flower, and I forgot to ask the name of this variegated greenery. And this is Veronica, flower preservative. Please keep in mind that I am not a professional floral arranger. I'm just a very brave individual. Well, I think this is a fairly respectable arrangement for the parlor. Let's go put it on the table there. I'm going to clean up my mess here, and then we can get started on the strawberry jam. So I have washed and dried 1 quart of strawberries, and I'm just removing the stems. And then all of these strawberries can go right into the food processor. Some of these strawberries are very small, but they're definitely ripe, loaded with flavor. And here's the remainder of the quart. Now you could mash the strawberries with, a potato masher. I just find it's much faster and easier to dice them fairly finely in the food processor. I don't want to puree these strawberries because I want my jam to have a little texture. So I'm just going to pulse the machine. Now we can transfer this to a bowl. These strawberries actually smell like strawberries. The berries from my supermarket have no perfume whatsoever. Now the recipe I'm following, which comes from this package of pectin, says to measure exactly 2 cups of the strawberries into a large bowl. I'm going to reserve the remaining diced strawberries, add some more to equal 2 cups, and then I can make yet another batch of jam. And you do want to be exact with measurements, otherwise the jam won't set up properly. And to the 2 cups of strawberries, I need to add 4 cups, which is 800 grams of sugar. While clutching your pearls, add the sugar 1 cup at a time. And you want to stir really well after each addition of sugar. This is the strawberry jam that I grew up with. It did have a lot of sugar in it. There is a pectin that is for low sugar or no sugar jam, but my supermarket doesn't sell that particular pectin. They only sell the good old-fashioned yellow box of Sure-Jell. The sugar not only acts as a preservative, but it preserves the wonderful red color of the strawberries. We need to let this sit for 10 minutes. Meantime, we can prepare the pectin mixture. For the pectin mixture, we need 3/4 of a cup or 177 mils of water. I'm adding this to a small saucepan. Then we need the pectin. Pour that right into the pot. And then we have to bring this to a boil while stirring constantly. Once this comes to a boil, I will continue to stir and let it boil for 1 full minute. If you make freezer jam at home, let me know if you use the yellow box of Sure-Jell or the blue low or no sugar box. I'm curious how the low sugar jam turns out. I know the jam that I made the other day was just perfect, and this is how I made it. Now we need to stir the pectin into the strawberries. And we want to stir really, really well. This jam is very easy to make, but it does require a lot of stirring. In the comments, let me know if you are able to find good local strawberries where you are. Or let me know if your supermarket sells local strawberries. Mine does not. I have to go to farm stands and farm stores. It's very interesting. This mixture is turning bright red now. Now we can jar up the jam. I have my jars over here. I ran them through the dishwasher so they are perfectly clean. I just need to fetch my lids. Wow, this jam is already setting up. I better hurry up and get it into jars. When you fill the jars, you want to make sure to leave a 1/2 inch of headspace for expansion in the freezer. I forgot to tell you, These are 8-ounce or half-pint jars. You can, of course, use the lids and bands that came with your jars. I just prefer to use these screw-on lids. They are leak-proof. And I can link these lids in the description below if you are interested. I can link the jars too. This jam needs to sit at room temperature for a full 24 hours in order for it to set up properly. So I'm going to move this aside. Meantime, we can get started on the biscuits. So on to the biscuits. Now, these are coconut oil biscuits. I made them a few years ago and they were really delicious. Of course, you can use butter instead of coconut oil. And then after the biscuits are baked, we can enjoy them and some strawberry jam for afternoon tea. So we start with 2.5 cups or 325 grams of regular all-purpose flour. Then we need 2 tablespoons of baking powder. You want to make sure that your baking powder is fresh. I just bought this. We also need a teaspoon of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, and then whisk all of these dry ingredients together. I know that I usually make scones for afternoon tea, and I can put my scones recipe in the description box below if you want to see it. But today, just for fun, I thought we should make these coconut oil biscuits. Then I need a 1/2 cup or 125 mils of coconut oil. It should be at room temperature. In other words, it should still be firm or solid, not melted. And then we need to rub the coconut oil and the flour mixture together until it forms a little pea-sized pieces. So you really do not need any special equipment for these biscuits. And rubbing the coconut oil and the flour together is extremely easy to do. It's even easier than rubbing cold butter and flour together. And there we have it. So this resembles coarse crumbs. Then we need to add some buttermilk. But before we do that, I need to preheat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit or 225 degrees Celsius. Correction, that's 220 degrees Celsius. So this is the buttermilk. It's cultured buttermilk that you and I bought together at the farm store earlier today. And I want to shake it up really well. I need 1 cup or 250 mils. Oh, I'm spilling it. This is a very full bottle. Return this to the fridge. So add the buttermilk. And then stir just until the dough comes together and it cleans the sides of the bowl. And there, the dough has cleaned the sides of the bowl. I'm going to form the biscuits on my marble board. And I want to flour my board fairly generously. Here comes the dough. I can flip the dough to flour the other side. I'm going to add a little more flour here. And then I want to form this dough into a 1-inch thick rectangle just a rough rectangle. Then this step is very important. Fold the dough into thirds as if you were folding a business letter. This will help us to make layers. It still looks very shaggy at this point. Then pat the dough out again. And do the same motion. Fold the dough into thirds. Turn it this way so you can see. And there we are. Pat it out one more time into a 1-inch thick rectangle. Let me see if I can find my biscuit cutter. So I have my baking sheet here lined with parchment. I'm going to throw a little flour over here in the corner, and I can dip my cutter into the flour, and then we can cut out rounds. Now when you cut out the rounds, do not twist the cutter because that can interfere with the biscuit's ability to rise. Just press straight down like this. And there we have it. Okay, on go the biscuits. And I want their sides to touch. They will rise better that way. It's kind of nice. We didn't even have to use a rolling pin for this recipe. Now I can pat out the scraps and make more biscuits. This recipe makes about 10 biscuits. I think my recipe is going to make only 9 biscuits today. It depends on how thickly you've patted out the dough. Now, to encourage these biscuits to brown beautifully in the oven, I'm going to top them with a little buttermilk. And into the oven they go for 15 to 20 minutes. I just have to try one of these biscuits while it is still hot from the oven. Really hot from the oven. In fact, it's too hot. I have some butter right here. And some strawberry jam that I made a few days ago. And I used the exact same recipe that we made today. Do I dare make a sandwich with this? Why not? This is heavenly, my friends. But I do not want to spoil my appetite because we are going to brew some tea and then have biscuits with creme fraiche and strawberry jam for afternoon tea. I think this day calls for orange spice tea. I bagged this from Tierra Farm. Into the music room. another biscuit. These really turned out beautifully. As I mentioned earlier, I'm serving these with creme fraiche and our homemade strawberry jam. Creme fraiche on the plate, strawberry jam on the plate. And I can eat these in the exact manner that I would eat a scone. Just break off a piece. Creme fraiche is taking the place of clotted cream here. The tangy creme fraiche and the absolute deliciousness of this homemade strawberry jam is a match made in heaven. I forgot to tell you that these biscuits are light and flaky and they have a wonderful taste. They do not, however, taste of coconut. Coconut oil has a neutral flavor. And of course, I will link the recipe for these biscuits in the description box below. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. As we shopped for local strawberries, we made some gorgeous strawberry freezer jam, and we made these beautiful and delicious coconut oil biscuits. If you enjoyed today's video, I hope you will give it a thumbs up. And I can put a couple of my other videos at the end of this one that you can enjoy between now and my next upload. Until then, please treat yourself very well. Please try these biscuits with some strawberry jam and some creme fraiche. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye, friends.